Hi, friends. This is Wendy Harrop, and welcome to the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. On the Say Yes to Yourself podcast, you'll hear stories from women just like us who are adding the practice of saying yes in their daily lives in big and small ways, and as a result, are experiencing the truth that everybody wins when you say yes to yourself. Saying yes to yourself is a graceful unfolding, an intentional becoming of the very best version of you. It is my hope that in these conversations, we are able to find our truth and be inspired and empowered to live our very best lives. I'm so excited to go on this journey with you, and I look forward to finding a bit of our own story in each other's.
Bonjour, mon ami. Welcome back to the podcast and happy Friday. I hope you had a great week. It has been so fun, so full of expansion and new experiences. I met with some fabulous new friends who own a chateau close by, and there is a collaboration brewing that I am so excited about. I cannot wait to share it with you when the time is right. But I am just loving these beautiful yeses that are coming my way. I feel like I didn't do anything. I'm just sitting here fielding requests for fabulous things, and it's all so good. And I'm expecting my next set of jewelry school clients tomorrow, which will be amazing. We will be together for a week making jewelry at the Cognac Jewelry School and playing with Jessica and living her beautiful, dreamy French life that she's created. And if you are watching this on Instagram and just dying 1,000 deaths of goodness, I invite you to join us for one of our weeks together in 2027. You have 7 opportunities if you are a beginner, and 3 opportunities if you've been making silver jewelry for a while now. You can join us for one of the collections weeks, but it's going to be so fun because instead of renting a chateau for my clients to stay at, you'll be staying at my house. Eek! Which is so fun. And we have people that are already signing up. So space is limited. If that is in your heart, please click the link down in the show notes and see if your heart's desire and your calendar align. And I would love to have you join me at the Cognac Jewelry School for one of our foundations or collection weeks. So fun. And oh my gosh, speaking of fun, today's guest, she's so cool. In fact, I was so captivated by her generosity, sharing so much of her work, so much of her processes. I felt like I was just listening to her podcast. So I know you are going to want to get your pen and paper. You are going to love all of these gorgeous nuggets from Riana Malia. She is an identity architect for high achieving women, a sought after speaker, and the creator of Clear to Create method and the Quantum Pattern Protocol. 2 transformational frameworks that have helped hundreds of women clear emotional residue, rewire subconscious patterns, and reclaim the love, life, and legacy they were truly meant for. She's known for blending neuroscience, emotional repatterning, and quantum healing. Rihanna guides ambitious women who have done the work but still feel stuck, especially in love. She's so cool. I know you are going to love this conversation with Riana Malia. Rihanna, I am so looking forward to this conversation. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I just realized in this moment that I forgot to ask my last guest the question that I'm supposed to ask everybody. So
Oh,
I'm going to start with it now. How are you saying yes to yourself in this season?
Mm, that's a really interesting question. This
Thank
week is
you.
wild. The universe is like, well, we're going to do this a different way. Um, I say that just literally because it's happening in real time.
Right.
We've been doing it a certain way with certain team, with certain people, and all of a sudden things kind of blow up and you're like, oh my God. And then the the process of like, okay, how am I going to figure this out to I bet this is probably a huge gift. And whether, it's God or the universe or your angels or whatever you believe in as you're listening to this or all of the above, oftentimes, right, we think we know that this is the thing, this is what we want, and this is the how we're gonna do it. And then God and the universe and the angels say, well, but I have this other thing that's meant for you over here. And you're really comfortable where you are, so you're not gonna come over here on your own. So I'm gonna burn it down so that you come over here and have the wonderful thing that was actually meant for you. So like that's literally today what's happening in my world.
Wow.
And the other thing that I'm saying yes to is, you know, just not being available for the panic and the chaos anymore.
Mm.
And when I talked about slow morning, before we started our
Yeah.
slow mornings, and there's this sense, especially for high capacity women, where we wake up and it's like, and I still like look at my phone and I look at Slack, but I'm like, okay, but I can stay in my bed and do that. I don't have to jump up and get ready, get into my office. And it's just like having that permission to say,
Mm.
you know what, if I want to work in my bed and scroll and respond to my team and then get up and go in my office, like that's okay. So I'm saying yes to calm, decisive, intentional energy and not reactive, chaotic, frantic energy, if that makes any sense.
Oh my gosh, it makes gorgeous sense. And yes, please, to more of that. And you are 100% in the right room because those are all of the pillars that are important to us in this community as well. It's
Great.
so beautiful. So, thank you, first of all, just for being so generous and sharing what's happening in real time. And I know that, having the intention of calm and having the experience of calm takes practice. So I'm really eager to hear, like, how have you learned? What tools do you implement to have an experience, like you said, that feels like the whole thing just got blown up and now you're being redirected into another area? So often we think, oh my gosh, this happened to me, and then this happened to me, and this has happened to me. And it sounds like you're operating more from the space of this is happening for me. And what do I need to see in this? What's going to be helpful for me to focus on so that we can keep this train going? Because you're obviously already doing the work, you're already have the business. So, it's not the business that's burning down, but just this redirection.
Yeah, but interestingly, like it is part of like it's not
Awesome.
business itself, but it's, a main person that has been with me
Yeah.
for years that I've had this kind of attachment to like, well, I can't do any of that stuff, right? And I don't want to. Let's be clear. Like that's not my thing. I'm going to go take care of all these incredible women. You take care of this technical stuff.
Right.
But we get into that thing where it's like, I don't even know what he does, like fully. And that's dangerous, right?
Mhm.
That's on me. Like that's like if we're gonna take radical responsibility, like, that's just not smart as a business owner, as a CEO. Anyway, lessons learned. But it is at that part of like, oh my gosh, okay. And the flipping that from, things happening to you to for you is critical. Part of what I teach is being a magnet for miracles in my work. And so as my values as a person and in my business are love, impact, generosity, the belief in what's possible, and being a magnet for miracles. And, again, in all transparency, I was awake at like 3:07 this morning, got this message on Slack and went, what am I gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah.
And through the hours since then, it's like, okay, there's so much happening energetically and up leveling in my world and the work that I do as a board certified integrative neurosomatic practitioner and identity architect for high achieving women. it's, it's my up level too. It's that identity where we have gotten to where we are and there's this next version of us. And it's kind of the same thing. Like where my business has grown, everybody that's been a part of it has been incredible. And I'm so grateful for all of it. And it's time for them to go do something else, etc. So that piece of it is critically important because as we know, right, we think between like 65,000 and 85,000 thoughts every day. And 90% of those thoughts are recycled. So they're the same things that you said and thought about yesterday, the day before, and especially around those things like, this always happens to me, or this never happens for me, or every person I meet is like this, and every relationship I get in is this, and there's never a parking spot, like whatever it is for you, right?
Right.
But 75% of those thoughts are negative. And what people don't realize is the unconscious mind it doesn't hear the don't, right?
Right.
Don't want this financial situation. I don't want to be in another relationship where I don't feel valued and cherished. I don't. Well, guess what? Guess what you're going to get? All you're going to get is more of that. So it's why, like, when we look at my methodology, we have to clear before we can create, right? We have to clear the story to create the life. Everybody says, I want a different story. And I say, great, quit telling the old one, first of all. And we have to clear the patterns to create the partnerships. We want those amazing relationships, romantically, personally, professionally, with our family, with our friends. But when we bring all of that old subconscious, old patterns, old ways of thinking, old neurology, we don't get those partnerships. We get more of the things that we don't want because that's what we're talking about.
Right.
And we have to clear the cycles to create the confidence, right? Everything is cyclical. And when we look at life, it's really interesting. And I'm going to do this today because I'm like, because everybody has either like a 7 or a 9-ish cycle when you look at your life. And it's not a perfect science, but for the most part. And so like, I want to look at what's happened in my life, 7 and 9 years. Like, is there now stuff that's happened? Like, is there literally clearing of stuff to create what's next? And I bet there is. But also then we have evidence that all the voice in our head, right? If it's relationships, then it's like, well, there's something wrong with me. I'm not, I don't get to have that kind of love, or I'm not worthy of it, or I'm unlovable, or the money stuff or the health stuff. Because we said, well, I thought I knew. And look how that turned out. So we don't trust ourselves. So we got to clear those cycles, right? To create that confidence. And we have to clear the resentment to create the results. Most high achieving women almost get what they want. And then they say, why am I self-sabotaging? Why am I resisting? And the bigger question is, what are you resenting? They're that.
Oh my gosh, Queen. I just want to listen to your podcast. Like, this is so
Fun. I don't have one.
like, oh wait, I'm supposed to be thinking of something to say. And I'm like, I want to just grab my pencil and write this all down. I'm 100% believe every single thing that you're saying. I love that. For me, it's something that I've learned, but to hear it from someone who's teaching it, obviously you can communicate it in such a beautiful way that makes everyone want to pick up their pen and like hit pause and write that down again. So this is so gorgeous. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your brilliance, because all the words that you're saying are what I'm trying to say to the listeners,
Right.
but without the framework that you've created. So please tell us, how do we clear? And so, like you're saying, there are these cycles, these 7-9 year cycles, and sometimes we think the clearing is happening to us. We think, we know it's happening for us, but we haven't instigated it consciously. So how do we do this reframe so that we can create our best lives? How do you look at what you're resenting without feeling paralyzed by that's such a big question?
So I think for context, before I even answer it, I just want to give a little visual about the unconscious and conscious mind, because if you're listening to this and you're like, I just don't want you to miss a piece because I didn't give you this context. So I want you to think about your body. And I want you to think about your body, and everything from the neck up is your conscious mind, right? It is everything we know, It's our critical faculties. It's our goal setter. We use it all day long. It's 10%, which means the rest of your body, everything from the neck down, the other 90% is your unconscious mind. So if the conscious is the goal setter, the unconscious is the goal getter. It's the operating system. It's the general, but most importantly, in my opinion, it is the literal library of everything we've ever experienced in our entire life. And it's all held at a cellular level, right? And we know now that memory is cellular, right? Science. And we think about memory being the brain, and of course, it lives in the circuitry, but it's cellular, right? We see that in so many examples, like generational stuff. In animals, we see it in organ transplants. Somebody hated pickles, and then all of a sudden they're craving pickles all the time, and they found out the person's chart that they received, that was their favorite food, whatever it is, right? Memory is cellular. And when we don't clear it properly and it stays in here, we see things manifest in the body and in the physical: overwhelm, anxiety, depression, confusion, being paralyzed, emotionally, mentally, autoimmune disorders, disease, illness, injury, all of it. The really important thing to understand about the work that I do is we're not going back into the story of any of it that caused the pain and the drama and the trauma in the first place. So the therapy and all the things, they all are beneficial if you're ready, like line in the sand ready to really clear so you can create the life and the love and all the things that's meant for you. You have to be able to stop going back and telling the story. And so when you go back and you unpack the thing again from your marriage or your divorce, or the thing that happened when you were 7 and you brought home a spelling test and somebody said, "Oh, you got a B, you can do better." And you go, "Oh, I have to be perfect. Get love. I got it." Like all of those crazy things we're not doing. We don't need to. So having said all that, and now being able to understand the power of the unconscious mind, because here's the thing. We cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it. It's impossible. So all the things that we feel like are problems that aren't working in the way that they could or should in our life, we can't solve that problem with the same mind that created it. We got to do it differently. Correct. So we clear, we create, and then we claim. And what does that even mean? So before we can clear anything, we have to get crystal clear. And that's one of the biggest things that I see, right? Is people, they're like, "I want this and this and this." Okay, so tell me more. Well, this. Okay, got it. What does that mean for you? Well, I don't know. I just want somebody that's, a great partner. Okay, what does that mean for you? So we go deep in what I call the knowing. And it's like deep values elicitation and non-negotiables and desires. And then from that, I create this amazing thing and give it to you called the Clarity Codex, which is all of those things at the deepest level reflected back to you, but it becomes your menu. And here's what I mean. It's like if we went to lunch together or dinner and we sat down at a restaurant and the server came by and said, "What can I bring you?" And we said, "Well, we're thirsty, so we need something to drink and a salad to start and some protein and whatever your fabulous vegetable is today." Okay, great. Amazing. And they bring us an iced tea and a Caesar salad and a lovely roasted chicken and some beautiful glazed carrots. And we got exactly what we ordered. The issue there is that what we wanted was a glass of Pinot and an arugula salad with figs and goat cheese and a beautiful filet and some roasted asparagus.
Exactly.
This is why these people, they almost get it, but they don't. And why is everyone else? Why do they get to have this? Why do they get to have this? So we start with clarity that you've never had. And from that, we get to build. So once we have that clarity, the other thing that does is it takes away that internal nervousness or lack of confidence about being able to trust yourself. Because here's why. Once you have that, let's say we're talking about relationships, right? Or in life in general, it doesn't really matter. But you will know in a conversation if somebody is actually worthy to get to be in your world, in your life, rather than spending weeks and months and freaking years, let's be honest, to then come to find out that, this person, like, this isn't a fit. The values don't line up. Because if the values aren't there and there's anything on that non-negotiables list or not on it, depending on the context, it's a clean no. And what that does is free you up from that. Is this a red flag? Am I being too picky? Is this a good idea? Should I go into business with this person? It's all gone. In minutes, you can make that decision. And when you get to make a clean yes or a clean no decision, it takes you out of the middle, which is that paralysis, which is that I call the devil. It's where all the friction and the noise and the decision fatigue lives, which for most people, then you either make a decision out of fear or you don't make one at all. And then you are not in your power of making choices in life. You are now at the mercy of, which puts you back into that whole kind of like the victim piece, right?
Right.
And so it is really important to understand that when you have that menu, if you will, you get to make value-driven decisions in every area of life. And it changes the game. So once we have that, then we do a dysfunction detox and we actually clear all of the stuff that's keeping you from the life that you want. All the old voices in your head, the limiting beliefs, then all the neurology, the strategy. When I say strategy, I want to be clear. I'm not talking about strategic planning in a business sense. I am talking about the human strategy, which we have a strategy for everything. We have a strategy for grocery shopping. We have a strategy for sex. We have a strategy for taking a walk. It's how the brain knows the steps of something and what to do. And some of it serves us well, and a lot of it's really dysfunctional. You think about things like procrastination or self-sabotage or whatever. It's all a strategy. Good news is we can blow it out. Even if you've been I'm a procrastinator for 40 years. Okay, great. How would you like to get rid of that in an hour? But the thing about that too, we touched on is releasing all of that charge and that negative energy that's in the body. And so if you think about those negative emotions, anger, sadness, fear, guilt, shame, and then the limiting beliefs, right? I'm not enough. I'm too old. It's too late for me. I'm not worthy of that, whatever. Whatever the things, the uns and the lesses that you mostly don't say out loud. Every single one of them has their own ribbon or piece of string or whatever comes to your mind. And lifetime, every time that we have a significant emotional experience with each of those emotions, a marble goes on the ribbon. So today, something happens that makes us feel sad or angry or fearful or guilty, whatever. It's not the today thing. It's the 30, 40, 50, 60 years of marbles behind it, right? It's the gestalt. And using a methodology that I use, we get to release all of that without going back into no conscious memory of anything that was painful. It's peaceful and painless. And what that means is now you have room for what is meant for you, for what you actually want, right? It's like a closet or a pantry. My pantry was ridiculous, and it's ridiculous again. But a few months ago, I just turned 50, a little ADD, a little perimenopause. I love organization, and also stuff piles up around me and I just want to shut the door and forget about it, right? And the pantry was like a disaster. So I took everything out and I put it in the kitchen and I cleaned out the pantry, and then I was going through all this stuff and there was like expired boxes of pasta and crackers and chicken broth and whatever. So I threw all that expired stuff away, half opened things, whatever. And then what was left, I put back, and it was all organized and looked amazing. It was so easy to find stuff. It's the same in here. All those expired ways of thinking and processing and those old identities that we are still operating from that don't match who we are today and who we're becoming. All of that needs to be thrown out. So we do that in this dysfunction detox. And now we have this level of clarity you've never had. We've blown out all this neurology and strategy, behavior, and all the things. Now we get to go, okay, who are you now? Who are you now? Who are you really? Away from the titles and the labels and the noise and the society stuff. Maybe you're in a transition because your kids went off to college and you're an empty nester and you're like, I don't know who the heck I am. I was mom first. Or you're going through a divorce, or you've got all of a sudden find yourself at 50 having to have a career pivot. Who are you now? And between now and dead, what do you actually want? And then we get to move into the create phase. And this is where we get to start playing in that space. But most importantly, we talked about the dysfunction detox. We blow all that stuff out. Well, we have to replace it, right? Because otherwise you end up in this maddening loop of, and this is where I think a lot of this work fails people, and it can be dangerous because you have all of this awareness and you get these ahas and it feels really good. And you're like, but now what do I do with it? Because if you don't replace the neurology and the behavior and the ways of thinking, guess what happens? The unconscious mind can't fill in the blank. It's why people are saying to me, I've been in therapy for years, I've done all the work and it felt so good. And then this thing happened and bam, I went back to like who I was 10 years ago. Why? Because we didn't replace it. So we do that. And now that we've gotten clear and cleared out all the stuff and given you the strategy and the neurology and the behavior and rewired your brain, now we're going to look at what it is that you actually want and create an absolute way for you to have it, to get it, to live it. And so we reverse engineer whatever your goals are, whether we're talking about a trip to Fiji or a relationship or a business or health, doesn't matter. We reverse engineer that in a way that we ask the question, what has to happen just before that? What has to happen just for starting at the end? Because the unconscious mind can't fill in the blank. So traditional, when we're talking about goals or things that we want, we're like, okay, great. Between now and the end of the year, I want to book a trip to
Paris.
Beautiful. And so we say, great, what do we have to do? Well, we got to figure out dates and we got to look at flights and blah, blah, blah. All right, fabulous. That's why 99% of people set goals, never achieve them, and then beat themselves up for yet another thing they didn't do. Because you miss 80% of the steps when you do it that way. And so, because the brain doesn't know the difference between something that's actually happened and something that happens with all the senses and visualizing, we actually start at the moment before. So what I would ask you, Wendy, is, all right, December 31st, 2026 or sooner, I'm celebrating booking this trip to Paris. Amazing. What has to happen right before you could send me a text and say, trip is booked?
Well, I do this all the time. I have so many trips to Paris between now and the 26th. So I can tell you what I've been doing for the past few months, but I have to purchase the plane ticket.
So I'm going to take it even more, Mike.
Yeah.
The literal second before you could say it's done, in that moment of how do you know you're there, maybe you get an email from your travel advisor that says, your villa's booked, your flights are booked, here's your itinerary, you're leaving tomorrow, right? And in that moment, then I ask, okay, using all the senses, like what do you see? Are you looking at your phone? What do you hear? Somebody in the room with you? What do you smell? What are you touching anything? And that ignites the particular activating system in the brain, which becomes laser focused to look for the things and the resources and the people and the opportunities. So you actually get to go to Paris, right? Yes. So it's that kind of level of rewiring, because everything that we give our brain, everything we think or say, it's like we give our GPS in the car. And I say that example because I have no sense of direction and I have to use it all the time. But it's like you give it an address and it takes you there. So when we say things or even think things like, well, it never works out for me anyway. I don't know why I'm so excited about this job or this relationship. I'm going on this date. Everybody I meet is the same. They're all blah, blah, blah. Like literally, that's the instructions that you just gave. And your unconscious mind will never make you a liar.
Right.
So all those things that you say, it's like, okay, got it. I have to make sure that I do that. Which then puts us into the beautiful claim phase where you get to own and integrate and embody all of this. And when you own this new identity, this new way of living for you, this new neurology, you no longer have that. Do I need this external somebody to tell me if this is the right choice or a good move for a relationship or money or health or whatever? This is where you fall in love with yourself again, and where you are fully confident and where you can hold boundaries and communicate your needs. And every single relationship that you choose to have in your life, you get to deepen the richness like 100x. And then as you integrate that into your energy and your decisions and your relationships, then you get to embody her and you lead and live and love from this new frequency. And you just get to like magnetize.
Oh my gosh. Yes, please. It's so yummy. And I can see, sorry that I messed you up with your example to something that I'm doing 14 times between the end of the year, but
Yeah, it actually was a perfect highlight of how we think, right? Well, I got to quit
Mhm.
my tickets. Okay, well, that was like 6 steps back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That it's
Yeah.
actually perfect that you said that because that's what we think about. That's how our conscious mind processes.
Yes. And to see her, which I love, and to just keep backing it up until you get to where you are now, not only does it activate that reticular, what is it called?
Reticular activating system.
Yes, thank you. But because I used the word activate before, it made me miss the what that's called. Um, it's anchoring in that alignment. It's anchoring at every step of the way so that when it's happening, we can trust ourselves. We can know what it feels like. We've memorized what it feels like to be in alignment. And so when we are taking these steps, I'm using that right now as I'm taking steps towards something new and unfamiliar, desirable, but unfamiliar. And I'm counting on that alignment. But I love your framework that has me already accomplishing the unfamiliar thing and then backtracking it. And so when I take the step, I can say, oh, right, I remember there was that house with the yellow door. Why did they even paint? Like I remember, oh, I'm on the right path because in my, well, I don't even know. I'm pointing to my brain, but is
Yeah.
because I was going to say in my memory, but what I should say is hold my heart and say in my memory when I envisioned it there.
And 100%, but it's a critical distinction because the reticular activating system is in your brain. It's not in your heart. And it's like the little bouncer that's looking for the things that because again, it will never make you a liar. But it's the feeling of that moment that's the important part, right?
Exactly.
Feeling of what that feels like to look and see like, oh my God, there's our itinerary, it's all planned, we're going. But yes,
Oh, it's so beautiful. And I know you said this so far at the beginning of you sharing this gorgeous framework, but you talked about how the universe does not hear the word no. It's we live with the law of attraction. There's no law of exclusion. So can you explain what you mean by that? When you say, I don't understand why I don't have all the money, I keep saying how I don't want to be in debt and I don't want all of it, those things that we are saying what we don't want, we're really attracting more of.
there's something that I do with my private clients that is literally, and if you give me 72 hours, I can rewire your brain and flip that around. And should we walk through it live right now?
Let's do it.
Okay. So this is part of the work of becoming a magnet for miracles. All right. So you need 2 pieces of paper and a
Okay.
band.
And a rubber band, you said? Okay.
To be like the office kind, not like a scrunchy kind that we put in our hair when we're going to sleep. It has to stay basically when you snap it.
Okay.
Okay. So we need a pattern interrupt.
Oh, yes. Exactly. That's my phrase. That's
Yeah.
what I do on my trips to France. Yes.
Hey. So here's what we're going to do. First of all, we're going to imagine being in a room with 4 walls and
Okay.
one to our left, one to our right, one in front of us, one behind us. Now, you're going to select for you which wall would be your away wall. And your away wall, everything on your away wall is everything you don't want. Everything. Like
Okay.
everything I don't want. Dog hair in the back of the car. I don't want debt. I don't want another relationship like this, blah, 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 all the things. So if you're a really visual person, literally I want you to point to which wall that is. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, it's to my left or in front of me, behind me, whatever. Then I want you to discern which wall is your toward wall. And on your toward wall is everything you want in every area of life. And it is hopes, wishes, dreams, goals, magic wand, fairy dust, no filtering. No, I'm too old. I missed my time for that. Or that's not going to happen because no filtering, all the things. And what we're going to do is we are going to, if you're willing to play all in for the next 72 hours, we're going to change your physical reality. So it's important to understand that as humans, we're all governed by 4 states, right? Physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. And the physical is our physical, tangible world, everything we can see and hear, touch and feel and taste, right? Finances, job, pets, relationships, all of it. And I want you to think of that like a cake. Okay. So if we bake cake, right? And we bake the cake and we take it out of the oven and we let it cool and we take a slice and we take a bite and it's terrible. What are we going to do to bake a better cake? Well, we're probably going to look at the ingredients and see, like, did we put salt instead of sugar? Like, what do we have to adjust? Okay. So the cake is the physical. The ingredients are the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual, which all starts with those 65,000 thoughts that you think every single day. Also important to talk about frequency a little bit here. So we talked about, kind of living and leading and loving from this new frequency. And the reason that frequency is so important is because there's high frequency emotions and there's low frequency emotions. And oftentimes we think consciously like we're hanging out in those high frequency emotions, right? Gratitude and joy and happiness and love. And there is truth to that. But the other side of that is unconsciously, we're often hanging out in fear and guilt and resentment and anger and shame and doubt, right? And why is that a problem? Because we don't get what we want, we get who we are. And what I mean by that, and my favorite way to explain this is music. So I'm going to ask you, Wendy, like, what's your favorite current genre of music?
I like jazz from the 40s
Amazing.
because I'm a 90-year-old woman.
What is your least favorite genre of music?
Country music. I know. I'm sorry. It's okay.
Listen, it's totally fine.
We can still be friends.
We can still be friends. I want you listening. You need to pick your actual. So don't put jazz and country. I need you to actually select your favorite and your least favorite. Okay. Now imagine that everything that you want for your life is on Sirius XM 123. It's all 40s jazz all day long. It's amazing. And like, it's all here. But unconsciously, a lot of the times, not even aware of it, you're hanging out down here and it's freaking all the Lukes and the Kennys and the Morgans, and you get turned up and you can't even turn it down. And the question is, can you hear 40s jazz on No Shoes Radio?
Nope.
No. So how are you going to hear 40s jazz? You have to turn the frequency. You have to raise your frequency. So that's what we're going to do the next 3 days, okay, together. So you are actually going to make those lists, fully make them. If you need 10 pieces of paper, great. Everything you don't want, everything you do. When you're done, I want you to take photos of them on your phone and either pin them in your notes app or put them in an album and pin it so you can access them very quickly. If you're one of those super visual people that we talked about earlier, I bring this up because I have clients that are super visual, and they will actually tape those to the walls for them, like in their office room or bathroom or closet or whatever, so that like they have that anchor. But here's what we're going to do. You're going to put that rubber band on, and you are going to not take it off for the next 72 hours. And as you go through life, you're not going to do anything different. But when you notice maybe that you are spiraling down into that, like, I'm going on this date. I know it's going to be just like the last one. Everybody I meet's the same. Or you're going for an interview and, I'm not going to get the job anyway. Anytime you find, whatever it is, like you're, again, driving to the store and you're like, well, of course there's not going to be a parking spot for me because there never is. My daughter and I play the parking spot game and her friends are just dying. There's always parking.
That's right.
Always. Doesn't matter. It's Christmas Eve. There's always parking spot for us. And here's the thing. The first day, you might not notice it hardly at all because you're so used to living like this. But when you do notice it, here's what I need you to do. I need you to snap the rubber band hard. I need you to think of the last thing you were thinking of. And sometimes it's like you don't even know you're doing it, but you feel it in your body. Maybe your heart starts racing. You feel a little anxious or you have a pit in your stomach and you're like, why do I feel so yucky? And then go, okay, I'm going to snap the rubber band. What's the last thing you can remember that you were thinking of? And I promise you, there's something on that away wall list. Guaranteed. So what do we do about it then? Well, we got to choose a better feeling thought, right? We got to raise that frequency. So how do we do that? Well, number one, you could simply look at your list and pick something on that toward wall list. And much like visualizing the email from the travel person, like you felt what it felt like to get that, do the exact same thing. And we know that it only takes 17 seconds to hold a thought with all of the emotion, right? To create new neural pathways or reinforce the old ones. So everybody has 17 seconds, but 30 seconds, 60 seconds, even better. Now, the other thing you can do is you can actually just sit in gratitude for something, but not the Pollyanna, I'm so grateful for my life, la, la, la. Like a visceral, like it's been raining for 3 days and I'm sitting here and the freaking sun on my face through this window feels so good. Like something that's like legit in the moment. You're still feeling it and you're like, yeah, okay, great. This is not working. I want you to ask yourself, who can I serve in this moment? It doesn't have to be a big deal, right? We're not like, you don't need to go like change the world. It could be a text to a girlfriend. It could be a prayer for someone or an intention. It could be, your neighbor's trash can fell over and you go pick it up, like get out of your head and do something for someone else, even if for 10 seconds. Now, the second day, you're probably going to start noticing it more because now that reticular activating system is ignited. You're aware, you're being intentional, you're actually looking for, noticing in your body, noticing how you're feeling, noticing where your thoughts go, and you're going to snap it, snap it, snap it. And by day 3, hopefully you're snapping it a lot. And the point is not that all of a sudden you're never going to have these thoughts again. That's not the point. We're not giving you a lobotomy. The point is to pull yourself out of it as fast as you can. Right? Instead of it being whole days, then it's hours, then it's minutes, then it's literally like you catch yourself almost before you even can snap it and you're like, no. And you flip it around. And so all of a sudden, all of those things that aren't working, the cake that tastes crappy, all of a sudden is amazing. 72 hours. Not an arbitrary number, I promise. Neuroscience. So 72 hours, I want you to come back, you guys, and I want you to tell us, oh my gosh. And I will tell you, like a lot of my clients will say, honestly, I thought this was a really stupid thing you were going to make me do. And then they're like, it changed my life in ways I could have never imagined. Because we don't realize the way that our brains are wired. Everything you want is available on the other side.
100%.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, thank you. That was so beautiful. And yes, please, everyone, let's do it. Like, this is so great. And I love what you said, that the goal is not to not snap the rubber band. It's to do it often, because that's how you're creating the new neural pathways. That's how you're replacing what you've now cleared out with what you actually want. At day 1.5,
Yeah.
how do we get past the frustration of recognizing what we've been doing for decades? Because you're flicking your rubber band, you're doing this, and you're like, oh my God, this is taking all day long because this is what's happening all day long. Why? You can get into a spiral about that as well. So you're then snapping.
Right. So here's the reframe. And here's the thing. So the minute that you do that and you're blaming, complaining, justifying, whatever, you've now pulled yourself out of what we call cause or effect, and you're no longer in control of your life. It's the mercy of somebody else. And I would be happy if this thing was different, or this person, or this government, or this job. Like it's them. It's not me. So rather than, oh my God, I've been doing this for decades and I could have had this in my life, blah, 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 stop the noise and go, oh my God, it's like I just won the freaking lottery. Like, get excited about what's possible that wasn't possible a day and a half ago for you, for your future, for your life, and play in that energy. And this is a muscle. So you're not going to just do this for 3 days and then you're like, oh, it's magic. I have clients that a year later, they're like, they'll put on a rubber band because they're like, I need to get back to that muscle because I find myself, in fear and lack and scarcity and doubt and not trusting. And that's where I'm living. And then I'm wondering why nothing is working out in my life. And, to take it a step further, because we all meet our people, right?
Yes.
So I have somebody who's my me. And it's funny because like she's saying things to me that I teach my clients all day long. And it becomes comical, but it's true. It's like, we are in the bottle. You can't see the label. Like we're in our
That's right.
stuff. And to the extent that as humans, it's hard when we're looking at the current reality
Sure.
to be in the delusional energy of it's all coming, it's happening, it's done.
Yeah.
But every time we go out of that into the current, like looking at
Right. What is
the state of the relationship, the lack of the relationship, the balance of the bank account, the whatever, it's really hard. Really hard. It's the hardest thing ever. But you have options. We send things to the FO room.
okay? Love it.
And as soon as the thought comes, it goes there. So you could send it to the air balloon, to the, like, you do what
Right.
you like, but whatever the energy is. But then again, same concept. But what is it that you desire? What are you claiming that, so there's that first piece, just like the snapping of the rubber band. So this is like the master's level after you do this, right? Then
Sure.
because it's really important to, again, stay in the work of the muscle of noticing the minute one of those freaking thoughts comes in your mind, out. You're going to the FO room, out. You're going to space in the lantern, whatever.
Yeah.
Get rid of it. Put it away. Put it somewhere else. And immediately think about, what am I claiming for the desire of what I actually want? And in that reality, it's all handled.
Yes.
All handled. And send that out. And just, we call those rockets of desire. And you will find that your life, people around you will be like, what is happening? Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you all of a sudden so lucky? It's a guarantee, I promise you.
I know it is. I'm in it. I'm living it. And I just love how you've put so much beautiful language and structure around it. And you're so generous to show us and share with us these frameworks and practices, but also, you could have talked this whole time about how to change the oil in your car. There are people that are going to be like, awesome, I'm changing my own oil from now on. And people are like, that's nice. I want her to change my oil because she clearly knows how to do it. She just told me how, and I'm not interested. So I love that you don't just say, this is how to do it, peace out, good luck, it totally works. But you offer mentorship and coaching and relationship around this, and you have so many ways to do it, but I love the very high touch way that we were chatting about before we hit record. So tell us how we can have this experience, but stay on track while we're having it and luxuriate in the process as well.
Yes. So there's two pieces, right? That's kind of available. And we're going to get my favorite is your favorite too. But there's something that's called the intensive. And it's like, this work doesn't take months. It's like 6 or 8 weeks. You and me creating together. We go through the whole clearing and creating piece, right? And get you kind of set up for that claim. And then obviously if you want to continue co-creating, we have that conversation. But then there's the arrival. And the arrival is where we go away somewhere together and I fully design the most magical 3 days of your life. If you're a beach girl, we go to the beach. If you're a mountains girl, we go to the mountains. Like wherever you feel like this is your happy place. And what we would do in those 6 to 8 weeks, we're going to do in 3 days-ish, but combined with everything that makes you feel completely wrapped up. So again, I love touch. So for me, that would be a massage every day at those 3 days. Soft things, right? Slow mornings, So we design the days around what feels good to you. Are you like, I want to do deep work in the morning, and then in the afternoon, I want to play. I want to relax. I want to have a massage. I want to go to the beach, whatever. Great. We design it around you. It's about how this experience can just wrap its arms around you and fill you up, and you leave a different person in the respect of you are no longer available for the stuff that's not meant for you. Relationship dynamic,
Exactly.
money, health, whatever. You're no longer available for it from an internal mind, body, nervous system, unconscious mind, subconscious situation. Like you don't even have to worry about, oh, I'm going to learn how to get out of things quicker. You're just not even available for it anymore.
Oh my gosh.
It's wonderful.
It's so wonderful. You are so wonderful. I feel like thank you for talking this whole time. I just was drinking it all in. I thank you for being generous and in service. Everyone is going to want more of you. So please tell them how they can find and follow you, how they can engage with your work, all of the good things.
Perfect. And then if it's okay, also, I'd like to give you a gift before we close.
Of course, your generous people are just more and more and more generous. That's how it
So
is.
you find me everywhere at Riana Malia. So rianamalia.com, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Substack, all the things, Riana Malia, right? RIANAMALIA. But I want to give you something that's going to give you insight into yourself that you've never had, okay? I created something called the Extraordinary Love Index. We lovingly call her the Ellie. And the Ellie answers the question that most of us circle for years, decades. What is standing between you and extraordinary love? All the love. Now, this is not a what Disney character are you situation.
Right.
So
Good.
it's a diagnostic. It's 40 questions. Give yourself a good 10 or 15 minutes to answer them thoughtfully, because I'm going to send you a 28-page personalized report looking at these 9 key areas of you. And what it's going to tell you is, based on what your answers are, this is what you might be experiencing in your life. This is what might show up. Here's the cost of you staying here. And here's something you can do right now to move towards this person that you actually are, who you're becoming. And you're going to have moments of, okay, that totally makes sense. Kind of do that. You're going to have moments of, oh my God, I never put that together, like connecting dots.
Right.
And no matter who you are or where you are in your life, that you're married to the love of your life, like me 2 years ago, right? And I created this work for me first.
Congratulations.
I never thought that would happen. Like I was fully like, I'm going to be alone forever. No one's going to love me. And especially not the way I want to be loved. And my husband loves me in the way that I dreamed about my whole life. But whether you have that or you want that, whatever, anywhere in between, the Ellie is going to give you the answer to that question. So go take the Ellie.
Oh my gosh. You're such a dream.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This was so wonderful. My face is sore from smiling so big and nodding this whole time. You're amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. As always, any links or notes mentioned can be found at phineaswrighthouse.com in the podcast section of our site or in the show notes below. And if you haven't connected with me personally, come find me on Instagram at Phineas Wright House and let me know you listened to this episode. I'd love to get to know you. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I know your days are full, and I'm really grateful that you chose to spend some of your precious time right here. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of these delightful conversations. I'll see you next week.